It's known by several different names. Russian tea cakes is what we always call them. They're also sometimes called Mexican wedding cakes and snowballs. They're basically a round shortbread, usually has some kind of nuts in it, and then a powdered sugar coating. So they look really beautiful on a holiday cookie tray, which is why I like to make them, is just for the contrast of shape and color and texture. And they're also just a favorite. I mean, I'm nostalgic for them. I think whenever I take a bite of these, I'm just transported back to my mom's kitchen. So we're gonna do that today, but we have a special spin on our holiday snowballs. We're going to add Earl Grey tea to ours. I'm making a half recipe of this, so you'll see me putting in the ingredients for a half recipe, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you the full recipe. Unsalted butter, and then 2/3 cup of powdered sugar. And don't forget to scrape down the bowl. Now this one, you don't really need to get it to that light and fluffy stage. We just want to make sure it's really well blended. So that looks about right. And then we're going to go ahead and add the vanilla extract. And now we're going to add the tea. And the tea is basically just dry Earl Grey tea taken from a tea bag. Now, if you have more of a loose leaf tea that is coarse, you definitely want to grind it. So put it in like a mortar and pestle and grind it up. And it takes quite a bit because you really definitely want it to have that tea flavor. I'm totally gonna spill that. All right. And then the flour, we don't need to pre-mix these. We can just add them directly to the bowl. And then just a pinch of salt. Scrape down the sides of the bowl. And then the last ingredient is chopped nuts. And you can use pecans or walnuts. I'm using walnuts. And this little nut chopper is just my favorite, one of my favorite kitchen items. My mother had one of these when I was a kid, and I think I was probably, when I was quite small, one of the only things I was allowed to do was to chop the nuts because it was hard to mess it up. My partner's mother, this is actually was hers, and she left it to me. Blend those in. You can really see the tea speckling the dough. I think it looks kind of nice. It makes it look a little bit interesting. I'm really smelling the Earl Grey. The Earl Grey flavor is actually from bergamot, which is a type of orange. So this does not need to be chilled. And then to shape the cookies, we're just going to pinch off a little bit of the dough and roll it into a 1-inch ball. You do not want them to be any bigger than that. I'm excited about these because I've been eating the snowball cookies for most of my life, and the Earl Grey flavor is just something different. All right, and then these can go ahead and get baked. We're going to bake them in a 375-degree oven. If you're using a convection oven, go ahead and do it at 350. They're just slightly brown and it looks like they're holding together pretty good. I'm seeing a few cracks, but I think that's okay. And then while they're still warm, you want to toss them in powdered sugar. And this is just going to be their first coating because a lot of it's going to sort of melt or soak in. I guess the way Peyton put it was hot butter mixing with the, with the icing sugar, and it basically made like a little frosting. Oh, I can really smell the tea. And this recipe is an adaptation from one that is in the Betty Crocker cookbook from my childhood. Also the Earl Grey version I saw on a website called Squirrely Minds. And once they're fully cooled off, we can coat them again in the powdered sugar, and then we'll give them a try. That was a long time to contain a wow, because that flavor is really coming through. It's so citrusy, the Earl Grey. Like, I don't think I really expected that. I didn't expect it to be so strong. You definitely want to let people know that this is an Earl Grey cookie, because if they go in expecting just that traditional kind of vanilla nutty flavor, they're gonna really be surprised. I think this is great. It's a wonderful combination. They look great. I like the little speckles of the Earl Grey tea in there against the white. It's really nice, and they taste great. I also just love this texture. It's a shortbread, but because of the shape, it has a softness in the middle that's really nice. These are perfect. Thanks for joining us. If you want more recipes from Earth Eats, just click on the screen. You can find our weekly podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or go to eartheats.org. I'm Kate Young, and we'll see you next time.